The second question goes first to District 27, Mr. McLaughlin. This is a combination of several questions that were submitted related to jobs and economic development. What do you believe should be the government's role in creating jobs, and what specific steps would you take to create more jobs and improve the economic atmosphere of Marshall County?
Thank you. I appreciate the question. Everybody, what is the government's role in creating jobs? We need jobs. Marshall County's employment rate has gone down. Unemployment rate has gone down to about 8%, but it's still too high, and it's still too high across the whole state. Everyone knows that we need to help small business, and I'm a strong supporter of small business. I see small business as the engine of our economy, and it always has been, and it always will be. Now, it's easy to say I want to help small business, but let's look at my record on this issue, and let's look at some concrete examples. I voted for legislation and became a co-sponsor with Dr. Bentley, who's the candidate for governor, of the bill to give a tax credit to small business for hiring unemployed workers. That's a direct benefit to small business and also gets people a job. It's an engine of economic development. I co-sponsored legislation 2 years ago to give a tax credit for employers who would pay the health insurance for their workers. They get to write off not 100% of what they pay, but 150% of what they pay for that insurance. I would support an angel investor tax credit. That would be help get capital in new innovative technologies and high-risk industries. Supported CAPCO, which frees up capital the legislature created to get more money out there for investment. I've supported BRAC, and I think that's going to bring jobs to our part of the state. And I've supported the Marshall County Economic Development Board. Through our TVA in lieu of tax money, we've been able to put money into the Marshall County Economic Development Board, which attracts industry to this county. And that's direct help for the industries that are here to help them grow and to attract new industries to this area. Attracting industry is important to this area, and it's the engine of growth.
Thank you.
And I support those incentives. Thank you very much.
District 9 candidates will handle this question next. Clay Schofield.
This is something near and dear to my heart. You know, I'm a small businessman. I see what small business goes through on a day-to-day basis, and I will continue to do that. I will continue to run a small business throughout being in the state Senate. Small business is the economic engine. And what we have to do is make sure that we keep taxes low. We keep taxes low, and we will maintain a competitive environment among our neighboring states, among our neighboring counties. The second thing that is key to Alabama that makes us extremely competitive, especially when we're talking about recruiting these car plants, is that we're a right-to-work state. That means that you cannot be forced to join a union. That gives us leaps and bounds more advantage over many of other states. That's why you have a Hyundai plant down in Montgomery where a worker makes an average of $33 an hour. Similar plant up in Ohio that makes $77 an hour. We can compete, they can't. That's why these jobs are coming here. That is a key issue, and that is something that will be tested in the next several years, I assure you. And also, as a small businessman, one thing that concerns me is the Obama health care system that they have been promoting. This is nothing more than a job killer, ladies and gentlemen. We have to, as a state, push back on that, and we can as a state. This is a states' rights issue. Now, Senate Bill 233 that was proposed by Senator Beeson last year would allow the people of the state of Alabama whether or not we wanted Obamacare. We would then use that to back up our suit that we file against federal government, telling them that we will not accept Obamacare and they cannot force that upon us. That bill was not allowed to come out of committee. We have to push that. We have to send a message to Washington that we will not accept overstepping bounds.
Tim Mitchell, the same question, 2 minutes, please.
Thank you. We will have a major impact on trying to have an atmosphere in Marshall County and District 9 to create new jobs. It was mentioned earlier, BRAC is going to be a major asset for this area, but we've got to get ready for it. We've got to help build roads, the infrastructure, schools, to get ready for the influx of people that are going to come. And it's going to spill over to our county, and District 9 does have part of Madison County. So we've got to do that. Another thing, we've got a gold mine in Albertville. We've got the airport up there, and we have the avionics school and other companies up there. We need to work hard to try to expand on that. I've said in the past that one thing that I'd like to see us do, and I would be willing to try to help pass this bill, is to give small manufacturing firms some tax credit for research and development. Our small manufacturers here in our district do more research and development than the government, colleges, universities, and I would like to see us help those manufacturing plants with a tax incentive, which would help us create jobs. Workforce development in Albertville, that's another issue. And here in this part of the district, tourism is a big industry for us. Thank goodness we had the leadership with Representative McDaniel and Senator Mitchum to remodel our state park. I was up there just the other afternoon. A conference was there, and I talked to 2 people from Minnesota. So tourism is a big industry. So there are things that government can do to help create jobs, and I want to be part of that. Thank you.
Clay Schofield, a 30-second response.
Thank you. One thing that I didn't leave out that is said a lot is that, a lot of these candidates say we're going to create jobs. Candidates and elected officials and government doesn't create jobs. What government's role is creating the environment that is conducive to optimum job creation. And that comes in tax incentives, that comes in tax breaks, that comes in right to work, that comes in standing against the federal government, and that comes in education. Education, we have got to have a 21st century workforce trained for the 21st century.
Excuse me. Okay, the same question for District 26, starting with Kerry Rich for 2 minutes, please.
First of all, I agree with everything that Clay said. There are things that government can do, and I understand that, tax credits for businesses and things of that nature. But I was talking to a friend of mine, Charles Bailey, the other day that runs Southern Metal Fabricators, and I asked him, I said, what's the most important thing that the state legislature can do in helping your business, your industry? And he said, get out of our way. And I think basically that's it. Now, we need to create a more positive business environment in the state of Alabama. That's critical. Now, my opponent has said on his webpage, and you can go on his webpage and read it, not promoting his webpage, but you can. But he says that if a company comes to Alabama and then they leave Alabama, we should pass a law that would put a tariff on their products if they sent their products back into Alabama after they left. If a company is considering locating in Alabama and they look at our law and they see that we're going to put a tariff on them if they ever decide to leave, they're going to say, we're not going to go there to begin with. So that's the kind of thing that we don't need to be doing. We need to create a positive business environment where we create an atmosphere where businesses want to come here instead of being afraid to come here.
Randall White, 2 minutes.
In my comfort zone now. The key word is workforce development. I'm on 3 key. Got it now? I'm on 3 key workforce development committees. I'm on Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia. I'm on the Governor's State Task Force Workforce Development, and I'm on the Regional Workforce Development Committee. I'm already working to get industry to come in that industry. This thing about us legislators don't play any part, we can play a big part. Our past legislators, Senator Mitchum, Frank McDaniel, worked diligently on that. I'm looking at a plant now, if we can bring in, it's a $1 billion plant that will pay high salary jobs. The way you raise revenue is not through taxes. It's by raising revenue is by jobs, economic development. That's what it's all about. They all go hand in hand. Got to have a educated workforce. There's so many things we can do. You know, like our Walmarts, which is killing downtown retailers. We can create what they call a retail incubators, where they can take in a large building, several businesses and go in that same building and work together to pay their bills and sharing their expense. And that's a temporary deal. And then when they are able to go out on their own, they can go out on their own. Also, we can work with business economic payroll, develop incentives, retail package performance base. What that is all about, we can help them up to a $500,000 plant and give them a tax break and help them any way we can. We can encourage small business expansion. This is through the Small Business Administration. Keep the tax base low. And through the Small Business Administration, there's all kind of help there for industries. There are great programs to show them for job expansion, for economic development, how to work with government, how to write contracts, dealing with government regulations.
Thank you. Mr. Rich, a 30-second response.
One other thing I'll mention, one thing I learned while serving in the legislature and also as legislative director is you need to have a good relationship with the governor's office. And the reason that's important, the first place that a company comes when they are looking to locate in Alabama is the Alabama Development Office. And of course that person is appointed by the governor, serves at his pleasure. So if you have a good relationship with the governor's office, which I've always tried to have and always have had, then you're in the know. They'll let you know when people are looking at the state of Alabama.